Congressman Jody Hice, who represents Georgia's 10th, is joining us now on the show, and he's got a vote called here in a few minutes, so we may not have a lot of time with the congressman, but it's always great to have you on the show, sir.
Always an honor to be with you. Thanks for having me back.
What were you more excited about last night while you were watching TV? Were you yelling more as the results of the Virginia gubernatorial race were coming in, or watching the Atlanta Braves win the World Series?
Hey, listen, for me, it was yelling with glee and joy going back and forth from channel to channel. But listen, we were proud of the Atlanta Braves. And what kind of poetic justice is that after Stacey Abrams and all that bunch moved the Major League game earlier away from Atlanta, the All-Star game. Yeah, All-Star game cost Atlanta probably, they say, $100 million, and now for the Braves to come back and win the World Series. What a victory! I mean, it was fantastic for Atlanta, fantastic for the Braves, but fantastic just even politically that Stacey Abrams got what she deserved. She could take the All-Star game away from Atlanta, but she couldn't take the World Series away. So it was a great time. But yeah, listen, what happened in Virginia and New Jersey as well? Just an earthquake politically, just a massive night in every way.
The Virginia race is fascinating to me. The state has been somewhat purple for the last few elections, and Biden won Virginia by, 10-12%, I believe. So this was
right.
a massive switch, a massive flip for Glenn Youngkin, a relatively unknown person in the state, a newcomer to politics, to be able to come in and stay on message, avoid getting into the mud over Donald Trump or any of the more divisive issues in the country right now, and focus on what the voters in Virginia found to be important, and that message worked, and he was able to defeat Terry McAuliffe, who was a well-known, well-funded candidate in Virginia, but just was not the right guy for the state at this point. Yeah,
it was just amazing, and Youngkin and company ran a fantastic campaign in every way. But you know what really set the whole thing off was what happened in the schools and the assault of the young lady in the schools, and the school trying to hide it, sweep it under the rug, the school board trying to do the same thing. I mean, that is what brought parents out. And then when the girl's father was arrested, then it became national news. And listen, people are getting fed up with this woke culture. They're getting fed up with socialism being crammed down our throats. And as those issues came to light in Virginia and took on, not only did it have a massive impact in what happened in Virginia, but it is continuing to have a massive impact across the entire country. And we're seeing school boards packed out all over the country, parents wanting to be involved with their children's education and knowing what kind of stuff is being taught. And so listen, this goes beyond, to me, Scott, this goes beyond just good political strategy as much as Youngkin and company had that. They ran a fantastic campaign. But this is, from my perspective, a God thing as well, because the evil, the wickedness that came to light for the people of Virginia and the American people to see firsthand, they have just rejected that type of the stuff that's being crammed down our children's throats, and they came out en masse, and their voices were heard loud and clear.
You know, we could probably spend hours talking about whether or not there were any positives out of the pandemic, but one thing you've got to look at is parents who may not have been directly involved in the curriculum of their kids' schools now saw firsthand, thanks to Zoom learning and distance learning, what they were being taught and how they were being taught, and perhaps got more involved. And I hope the next step of that not just is a victory for Youngkin in Virginia, but also the involvement of more parents at a local level in school boards. Even if you don't have long-term political aspirations, running for your local school board is something that directly affects your family's life every day of your kid's future and of the next generation's future, and is a great way to instill conservative values in local politics at with a relatively low entry fee. I mean, it's not to belittle any of the great people who are serving on school boards, but if you're getting into politics, that's a low risk point of entry to do so.
Oh, absolutely. But what is more important, like you said, nothing is more important than passing on values and our cherished freedoms that we have here in this country to the next generation. And so much of that has been in process of being dismantled within our education system over the last several decades. And people are waking up to the reality of the treachery, really, that's been taking place. And I'm literally being told already that there are literally thousands of parents all across the country who are now running for school boards who never had considered doing such before, but because of what has come to light and the CRT and all this type of stuff that's being taught, parents are engaging. And I think we're going to see a massive shakeup yet again about this time next year all across America.
We're talking with Congressman Jody Hice, representing Georgia's 10th here on the Scott Sand Show. Also, we can't forget about what happened in New Jersey as well. It's very close. It may be days or weeks before that election is certified, but for a Republican gubernatorial candidate in New Jersey to do as well as he did there as well, I mean, this is perhaps, and I hate to get ahead of the ball here, but perhaps a referendum on the first 10 months of the Biden presidency.
Hey, listen, I couldn't agree even more. And I believe Biden won New Jersey like 16%. And so it went from 16% last year, this time, to nose. So you look at this and, realistically, and I could just tell you, Democrats around here today are in absolute panic mode. The reality is Democrats are saying if they are in a D+15 district or less, they could be defeated. The American people are rejecting this whole socialism woke policies that they've been cramming down our throats, and Democrats are extremely nervous as well. They should be. America does not want to go down this Marxist socialist pathway, and any Democrat that's been standing for that stuff, which is all of them, are in trouble.
I think that the midterms are still a long way away, and certainly 24 is years away. But Republicans have to be feeling pretty good about the midterms if they weren't already after yesterday's election, and I think that goes all the way down to the local level. We're watching school board races here in the state of Ohio and Michigan and West Virginia as well, and seeing much of the same thing, and that's certainly encouraging. Congressman, I know you've got a vote in a few minutes. Any movement on the reconciliation bill or the infrastructure bill or spending my money as the Democrats want to do?
Yes, the Bankrupt America bill. You listen. The thing is over almost 2,500 pages long. We're being told the text has not come out yet, but we're hearing word that it's somewhere in the ballpark of 2,500. We're also being told that the Rules Committee is going to be meeting within the next hour to discuss it. Beyond that, I don't really know much details. I don't think the Democrats have the votes for it. After what happened yesterday in New Jersey and Virginia, I think you're only going to see more Democrats become very skittish of trying to stick their neck out for this bill that's going to continue bankrupting our country and sending inflation through the roof and keep the problem that we have going with the supply chain, all this kind of stuff. Democrats are getting nervous about this, so I don't think they're close to having the votes. But Nancy Pelosi is saying that the Rules Committee is going to meet, and she is still crowing that we're going to have a vote on this week. So we'll wait and see. I don't know if she's just blowing smoke or if she seriously believes they have the votes. I don't think they do, but we'll see.
Well, and obviously keeping an eye on this out-of-control inflation as high as 5.75%, and today the Fed announcing that it will begin tapering in later in November, $15 billion worth of tapering, and we'll probably start to see some rate changes in 2022 as well. So that's everything that Joe Biden and the Democrats have done in the last 10 months having a direct impact on our wallets and the economy.
Absolutely. It's been devastating. You go back, and I would challenge people to do this, try to go back and think of every major decision that has been made by this administration since Inauguration Day, and I honestly cannot think of a single decision that has ultimately been for the good of our country and in the best interest of our country. And you add to that the disasters of like Afghanistan. Who will ever lose the imagery of people hanging onto that airplane going down the tarmac? And, Americans to this day, Scott, are still stranded in Afghanistan. American citizens by the hundreds are still there. And what are we doing to rescue them? And then the southern border, and you add all of those things to the energy problems, the supply chain problems, the inflation problems, the taxation, and here the Democrat solution is trillions and trillions and trillions more debt. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Congressman Hice on Twitter, Congressman Jody Hice from Georgia's 10th here on the Scott Sands Show. We started out talking about the Atlanta Braves and what that means for the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta. Also, in the sports world, the Georgia Bulldogs also bringing a lot of attention to the state and to Athens and to your area. You're part of Georgia. I got to say, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to stop the Bulldogs this year. Number one in the college football rankings. Cincinnati getting screwed. Alabama overranked, and I'm a Crimson Tide fan, so it pains me to say that they don't belong at number two. But it's going to be an interesting few weeks left of the season.
I tell you, we could not be more proud of the Bulldogs. They have really put together a remarkable season, and what's exciting to me, there's no real all-star player. They are just, as a team, confident. They are good. They are well coached. And they exhibited on the field. I mean, what an amazing year. So, yeah, we're, of course, Athens is in my district, or better said, I am in their district, and I could not be more proud to be a Georgia Bulldog, and we're pulling for them all the way.
We're going to talk a lot between now and the SEC championship game, but the Bulldogs look unstoppable.
Well, we're certainly hoping so on this end, and I agree with you.
Congressman, always great to have you on. Go vote.
Thank you, Scott. Take care.